Hey, good morning everybody. Gears here, and it has begun. Late last night, as the sun was after the sun had set, I should say, I just barely got some of the contact paper on the glass there, and I decided to just throw a little primer at it and see what would happen. Yesterday, and to get ready, I took the orbital sander with 220 grit across the entire thing. I'm going to prime it, see how that looks, and then I'll probably do a pass of 400 grit and hopefully have all the primer done by today. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be putting the car up on ramps, it looks like, so I can paint the front there. And well, that makes it kind of difficult all around, because then the butt is really a lot lower, and just by myself I definitely can't back up onto ramps. Well, we'll see how all this goes. I got a lot more masking to go. Gotta find a hat, because it is hot in the sun just right over there. And the last time I did this, 4 years ago this month actually, I hadn't been thinking about tarps. And with the mess I made, I dripped some paint on the ground that I had always regretted, and actually here it is right there. So this time, forewarned is foreprepared, or prepared is forewarned, or however it goes. And now I'm ready. The black that's on there now is a high temperature primer. I'm only going to be using that on the hood. I don't know if I'll put the self-etching stuff down first and then the high temp, or the high temp first. I don't know, but as much of the car as I can do in high temperature, I certainly will. And then put normal primers on from there. Lots and lots of layers of white. And one thing I just spent the morning doing, this took about an hour to put it all together. Let's start with the back and work our way forward. The most classic X-Wing publicity photo. So there's a few indications on the nose of what's going on there. The gold is evident in all the photos on the wings and where that's going to go. These photos come via Modeler Magic, and they're credited to 2 pictures, Uwe Fisher, and then Ken Rice is the other fellow. This photo shows a lot of the small detail colors that are pretty much everywhere. I was really surprised to see that individual pipes were colored or painted on this model, so that's kind of cool. There's going to be lots of little gray panels around, and there's lots of corners of rust everywhere, so I'll be using a salting technique to get that down. This is one of the few photos, and it's credited to Ken Rice 2003, but that's cut off. One of the few photos that really shows what's going on with the nose. So there's definitely a distinct square of something there. There's some coloration up there. There's this wedge thing on the side, which looks like this. The yellow goes up the sides, does cut across, and then straight down. Canopy baby blue, red stripes on the wings. The yellow stripe that goes down to the first red stripe there and follows all the way back from the bottom of that red. I don't have any guns, so no worries there. And my droid will be going to either a silver or white dome with red panels. I'm doing research on that. It looks like it was painted silver with red panels here, but the actual one used in the live shots were a white dome with red panels, so I gotta confirm that. But definitely lots of panels of colors. There's further confirmation of the yellow cutting straight across the canopy front. One of the interesting things I saw on one of the photos here is that the engine cans are also baby blue. So I'll be doing my tailpipes in baby blue, not some kind of steel or anything like that. So lots of little details. It looks like I should actually paint my spoiler gray, I suppose, if I'm going to keep accurate to that. So I did a bunch of concept work. This is actually lifting the wing panel from one of the photos and trying to hammer it into place. This is pretty much a collection of the best immediate reference that there's out there. I've clipped it a little, but unfortunately this is about it. Uwe Fisher and Ken Rice via modelermagic.com. Other photos of other X-Wings can be quite extensive, but Red2, there is not a lot going on. So let's see what else we got here. Here's the previous paint scheme, a good close-up of the wings. Lots of little rusty areas like that, and this. Baby blue lines, baby blue engines, gray down there, so on and so forth. Oh, and yeah, I'll get that other reference in a second. So here's a few concept pictures I just put together. But for one last look, here's the old paint job. Obi-Shawn's car back there, and just married a year and a half ago. So getting back to the color reference, yeah, this is how it would be if I go with the old style, essentially. Actually, that's closer to the way it would be. This is a potential idea, but then what do I do with all this white space here? It's kind of dead, and there isn't really anything on the X-Wing there either to fill it in. I could take this yellow stripe all the way to that point, but then otherwise, how do I define this line of space there? Something to think about. I would otherwise put the torpedo chevron down in that. I took this, spun it around, put it all over the place, tried it small, tried it large, this side, that side, upper, lower, nothing was really working, and it looks like this is probably going to be the best one going, though I might almost try that. Basically, it'll come down to putting some tape on here and seeing where the lines work out. If I can get some kind of angle going from any particular geometry points to make it work, I'll do that. Right, so I got a lot more masking to do. I'm using standard contact paper, just laying it down. I gotta go over it and make sure that all these connections are good and everything's cut nice. I gotta get a ladder out, take some photos from a height, and so on and so forth. So let me go and get set up. Alright, so I believe everything is masked off and ready. Let's double check. 2 tires, check. Side mirror, check. Side window, check. Sunroof rather, check. I got to do the front here still. I used some pinstriping tape all around here, and I'm going to build up a lot of primer over that to help simulate panel lines. We'll see how that works. Headlight check, mirror check, window. Rest of this, that's okay. Top, back, antenna, brake light, exhaust, and brake light. Okay, so I just got to do that now. Alright, so at 100+ degrees here in sunny Los Angeles, I've got the rust passes and the primer done, I think. It's full of dust right now, so I'm going to have to wash it down tonight. Probably just use a wet cloth so I don't ruin all the masking that I've already got on there. Not all of it is convincing, this big patch of yellow, for example. However, a lot of it is really, really, really nice. I had 3 or 4 different colors that I've used here. One was a high temperature brassy bronze copper sort of color. I did that all along the panel lines. Then I had a kind of a nutmeg orange, which went down next, a little yellow, and then a little too much bright orange right there. So I've already taken a piece of sandpaper and rubbed the surface down pretty well. Like I said, I've got to wipe it down right now. But there are some really beautiful tones in here. I love what's going on in this area right there. This is nice too. Lots of good stuff. This panel here is nice. Really distressed and old looking. sun is probably a bit too bright to be able to see too much too well, though. I'm really going to hate painting over this, but definitely have to. And it looks like I'm going to have to buy several more cans of regular white, because there's no way that this is going to cover all of that. So what's next? The wipe down, and then I'm going to be putting salt on the body to help some of this come through a little later. One other thing I've noticed is that a couple of the panels, that's pulling up a little there. This one is completely buckled in the sun. And look at that, just puffed right up. So I'll probably cut this out later after I'm done painting, then put a new square over it. There's like one more like that, I think, somewhere. I think it's over on this side. Yeah, here it is. The last one I put down. It started as a buckle up top, and it's now gone all the way down. No, that's not the last panel. That was one of the last panels. So it looks like I laid it down just a little too tight, and now it's buckling a little. That's okay. Like I said, once this is done painted, I'll probably cut that out and put a new one in. So now it's up to wiping.